Welcome to the Big Bank Theory. This program is brought to all 6 public high schools in Manatee County, thanks to the Manatee Chamber of Commerce and Suncoast Schools Federal Credit Union. We also have a great supporting sponsor of Iberia Bank, and thanks to them, we're able to bring the financial literacy program to all of the high school seniors here in Manatee County. Today, I am at Braden River High School, and we are hosting approximately 350 students this morning. It's our second day here at Braden River, and the goal for these students is to budget their money and to make good spending decisions. Each student is assigned a random life situation. They are given their occupation, their yearly income, a monthly income. We also let them know if they're married and if they have children. A lot of them were pretty excited this morning when they got their life situation, and some of them were a little discouraged, but the program teaches them how to live within their means. So what we're going to do this morning is we're going to walk around, we're going to talk to a few of our business volunteers, and we'll also talk to some of the students who are struggling at times to make ends meet. Welcome back. I'm now with Julie Lewis with Suncoast Schools Federal Credit Union, our presenting sponsor of the Big Bank Theory. Julie, can you let me know what you do at Suncoast Schools?
Yes, I'm actually in youth marketing, and what that means is I go to schools, youth agencies, colleges. We have student-run branches set up in a lot of schools, about 30 throughout Florida. And I give presentations, participate in reality fairs, just trying to spread financial education.
Great. And I know that you all have participated in the past in the Big Bang Theory and realized how important the program was, and we truly appreciate your sponsorship. Do you find that the students respond well to the program?
Absolutely. Every student I've ever talked to and every teacher loves this program. It's very well put together, so kudos to you. And they really learn a lot. And if they only take away that kids are expensive, that's good.
And I do find that that is the common theme with those students who get kids drawn with their life situation. Now, we have 13 stations here, and one of the stations, of course, is the banking station. So what do you recommend to the students when they come to the banking station?
I would recommend to do your research, especially in real life. Do your research and know ahead of time what your options are. Know the difference between a bank and a credit union. Of course, I'm with a credit union. Credit unions often offer no fees on your account or lower fees than banks would offer. So just to do their research and not settle for what their parents have always done or what's on the corner.
Great, and I really appreciate you being here. You've been here a lot of the days, and I appreciate your sponsorship. And now we're going to go ahead and walk around to some of the other stations, maybe talk to some of our students. Welcome back. I'm now here with 2 students from Braden River High School. We have Ahmad and Elizabeth, who have been assigned a random life situation. Ahmad, what did you think when you first received your life situation?
I was happy with it. I mean, I have a lot of money, 2 lovely kids, a lovely wife.
Great. And Elizabeth?
I had pretty decent life. I wish I went to school more than just technical school.
Okay. And Ahmad, you mentioned that you made a lot of money. Can you tell me what your occupation was?
I am a physical therapist.
A physical therapist. And your education level?
I went to college with a bachelor's.
Great. Now, have you obtained your housing, your transportation? How far have you gotten into this scenario?
I got everything. I mean, I have a house, I have a car, daycare for the kids.
Good. And what do you think about daycare? Because daycare can be kind of expensive.
It wasn't that expensive because I used one of my relatives, so it was kind of cheap.
Yeah, sometimes we can do that, but in real life, a lot of times we have to use daycare. Elizabeth, did you have children?
I had 1 kid.
You had one child. And did you use daycare or have you not gone there yet?
Did. I used the family relative plan. So again, it was cheap.
Great. And we know sometimes in real life we do have to use relatives to help us out, but we really try to stress doing this all on your own and being realistic in your child care situations. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and let Ahmad and Elizabeth go back to the scenario, and we'll talk to some of our other business volunteers and some other students and how they perceive the situation. We are now with Nancy Murphy. Nancy is a retired school teacher, so she really brings a unique perspective as a business volunteer for the Big Bang Theory. Nancy, tell me a little bit about what you're seeing as compared to when the students came through your classes and what you're seeing today with these students.
I'm seeing a lot more concern for finances because of the economy. The students are aware of what's going on. I wish we had had a program like this when I was teaching.
That is probably the most common theme I hear from our volunteers is they wish they had had something when they were in high school. Now you are in the utility station, so tell me a little bit about that station and what the students are buying at that station.
Well, the students have to buy the utilities based on their housing, whether they have a house or an apartment. And they're pretty surprised at how expensive they are. And then they have to buy a phone, and they have the option to buy cable or internet. And these kids who are so wired today at home are pinching their pennies. I don't need that. I don't need cable. I don't need internet, because they're running out of money.
That is true, and I have overheard a couple of students talking about the fact, well, I have a cell phone, I have a smartphone, I don't need internet at home, I can do everything through my phone, so they are learning how they can kind of consolidate and conserve their funds because they know they have other stations that they have to go to. So thank you very much, Nancy, for being here.
Oh, thank you for running the program.
And we will return shortly. We're going to go ahead and talk to a few other students and get their take on this program. Welcome back to the Big Bang Theory. I'm here with Jared, and Jared has been assigned a life situation where he is a secretary. He is making about $22,000 a year. He does have a high school diploma, and he is married with one child, and his wife does not work. So Jared, tell me, how did you feel when you first got this scenario?
I was really upset because it's not a really good scenario. So whenever I grow up, I'm not going to do whatever that guy did. Or whatever I did.
I did notice that you did go back to school. Why did you decide that?
All right, well, I just figured, 2 years from now, if I'm still in the same scenario I'm in now, it's, not going to really work, it's not going to be good in the end. So I decided just, get school out of the way.
Good, and you did realize that there is the possibility after you further your education to make a little bit more in your income. You did realize that?
Exactly, yeah, that's why.
Okay, good. Now, I noticed on your form also that you are living in an apartment. What made you decide to get an apartment as compared to purchasing a home?
Well, I have a 4-year-old daughter, and then the utilities, apartments more, but the utilities bill will be less than a house, and I figured I have a daughter, and she's going to leave the lights on and baths and everything, so I just thought that was a smarter decision to, do.
Great. Now, I will say that you're on the lower end of the income scale, and your monthly income was about $1,400 to $1,500 a month, and somebody had to get a part-time job. Who was that?
The wife. She wasn't doing nothing, and I think it's only fair for, I don't want 2 jobs, the wife's not doing nothing, so I was like, oh, she's going to go get a job, so I asked her to go get a job.
Okay, and I do notice you have a child, so what did you have to do? Because your spouse was staying home watching that child.
Grandma.
Grandma. That's great that we all have grandmas to watch our children. Thank you very much, Jared, and I wish you luck on the rest of your life.
Thank you.
Welcome back. I'm with a couple students here who are thinking about a unique situation that might help them get through their month and pay their expenses. So tell me, Kyle, why do you want to work with Nicole on your expenses?
Because we are in the same situation as far as finances.
Okay, and Nicole, what are you planning to do with Kyle?
Well, we were debating whether or not we wanted to just like become roommates, since we both have like the same like age kids and whatever, and we both have the same job. Or they were also mentioning that we could like get married or something, so.
Okay, you're right. There are a couple of options that you guys can do. Generally, what I ask is, number one, if you want to get married, I need to know, is this true love? Or is this just a marriage to get through the month? That's the first thing I ask. Now, if you're not real comfortable about getting married, you can become roommates. There are a couple of advantages to getting married. With getting married, you can share your housing, you can share your utilities, you can share your insurance, you can share your child care, and you can share your groceries. Now, as roommates, it's a little bit tougher. Roommates tend to argue a lot, and they don't want to share as many things. So with roommate situation, you can only share your housing and your utilities. So with that in mind, what do you think you would want to do?
Probably get married.
Yep, that works.
Well, folks, I am excited to say that we will be performing a marriage today between Kyle and Nicole. So congratulations, and we'll return in just a few moments to talk to one of our business volunteers. We are now here with Mrs. Kish. She's one of the teachers here at Braden River High School. She has actually been involved with the program for several years. We piloted the Big Bank Theory here at Braden River High School 4 years ago. Mrs. Kish, tell me what you're hearing from the students when they have gone through the program.
Well, they absolutely love it. They're surprised at how expensive some of the actual costs are, and they're also a little discouraged by some of the earnings. So I think it has opened up their eyes to how important an education is, one, and two, how much things cost. A lot of them, I don't think, really realize how some of the basic things like housing, food, and certainly childcare, that's been a big one.
Definitely. And I know at other schools we've actually had reports from some of the teachers that some students have actually reconsidered their future career plans. I know at Manatee High School last year we had a student, wasn't planning to go to college, went through this program, then realized how important it was to get a good education and how it impacted your life in the future. Have you heard anything from the students along those lines?
Well, the only thing I can think of right now is a lot of people are comparing what they have been given to what other people. So I think that's opened their eyes up quite a bit to look and see what the difference is. Because even though you say it in the classroom, I think this has been hands-on experience where they can actually see it and think it. So it wouldn't surprise me a bit. I haven't talked to anyone specifically, but I've just seen a lot of people say, look at my career compared to their career and what the difference it is.
Great. And you mentioned that one of your classes is an economic class. That is what we're targeting here with their program are the social studies classes here at the senior level. And in economics, can you tell me a little bit about what you cover as it relates to personal finance?
Well, we really try to cover as much of it as we can. We start by looking at careers and what different beginning pay is for the variety of careers. We look at credit cards and interest, simple versus compound interest. We also look at student loans, and then they do create a monthly budget. What we have them do is predict 5 years from now, so after they've gone through school and they're starting their career, have them create a monthly budget, and then even onto a yearly budget, and trying to understand insurance. That's a big one too, especially with all the laws changing. So we try to cover all those areas, as best we can. And I spend personally probably 3 weeks or so at least covering personal finance. We've got a lot of tools out there that help us.
I know there's so much now available to these students, and one of the common things I discussed earlier was the volunteers. They're so thankful that the students are getting this. They had wished they had had that, and I think it's really important for everyone that the students are learning their personal finances and how to budget and spend wisely, and that's kind of the goal of this program. And I think between what you're doing in the economic classes and then using this program as more of a hands-on activity, they're really starting to understand. One of the things that I really like to relate to my volunteers when I'm explaining the program to them is, one of my son's friends went through the program a few years ago. I asked him about it after he was done. He goes, "Oh my gosh, now I understand why my dad is the way that he is." Right. And that is another benefit of this program. The students really understand how hard it is for their parents. And I think too, they might even think twice about asking them for that expensive piece of clothing or shoes, because they do understand how difficult it is. But I thank you very much for participating today. And we're going to go ahead, as I said, we're going to talk to one of our business volunteers and see how they did. I believe we're going to go to the Automotive Station and see how many vehicles he sold today. We are now at the Automotive Station. Every student here must get some type of transportation. We have a lot of different opportunities for them, and I'm here right now with Kyle Eitman. He is with It Works Global. Kyle, can you tell me a little bit about what the students are purchasing here at the station?
Surprisingly, you would think that they would want to buy the big dollar cars, but they're all going for the Altimas and Accords. I can't believe it.
Well, I do know that those are the most affordable. Now, how about that bus pass? I know the bus pass is only $60. Are you seeing a lot of students purchase that?
The married ones want to get the bus pass for the kids, but we keep telling them, your wife's not going to take that. Your husband's not going to be able to say, hey, our family's going to be able to go on a bus pass. So we always talk to them about getting a vehicle for their families.
Great. And then also, those that do purchase that high dollar vehicle, which I know we all have made mistakes in purchasing a vehicle, what type of trade-in service do you offer?
Very little. I mean, we want to give them something back, but obviously as a business owner, as a car dealer, I got to make a little money myself as well too. So we try to teach them ahead of time, buy cheaper. If you want to get something bigger when you have money left over, come back and see me and I'll give you that big deal.
I think that's great advice. Now, you also do tell them that if they're buying a vehicle, they need to purchase car insurance also.
It's the number one thing that they have to have. Every time they leave my lot, I tell them, congratulations on your new car, now go get some car insurance.
Great. And are the students pretty happy when they leave your dealership?
Yes, they are. They've been extremely satisfied when they purchase a vehicle from our lot.
Okay, now I do have to ask, because we have in the past had some dealers who have tried to upsell our students, maybe give them some warranties. Have you done any of that this time?
Yes, I have. I've actually sold some rims. I've actually sold an aftermarket engine and a new Honda. So yeah, we've been selling a lot of great extras with our cars.
And was it a wise purchase for them? Did they come back and say, oh, I shouldn't have bought that?
Yes, of course, they always say that. But as my job as a car dealer, I need to make sure that my family is fed as well too. So I always give them a little bit extra, but never too much.
Great. And I think I know where your next calling is, and that's as a car dealer. So thank you so much. And what we're going to do now is we'll be closing up. We're going to speak to our students and kind of get a feel for the whole scenario for them and what they thought about this program. As you've seen today, the Big Bank Theory program is extremely beneficial for our students. They come in, they're not really sure what they're to do, and a lot of them really don't understand the responsibilities that adults have. What's interesting is they're pretty excited that when I tell them they're a 25-year-old adult for the next hour and a half, they're all excited about that, but then they realize how important it is to learn how to budget your money. A lot of the students today plan to go to college. I even tell them how important it is as a college student to budget their expenses, making sure that they save their money for future problems or future expenses. Each day that we have been at one of the schools, the students have just talked about how much fun they've had. And I think that's kind of important because when a student is having fun, they are learning. And most importantly is they will probably remember everything that they did today. So we thank our presenting sponsor, Suncoast Schools Federal Credit Union and Iberia Bank, who is our supporting sponsor, and the School District of Manatee County for allowing us to come in and to teach these students a little bit about life and about budgeting and making wise spending decisions.